What's up YouTube? Tom from Tech Stops here coming your way, and today I'm doing a review of the HTC Wildfire. This one is an Android 2.1 operating system smartphone. Comes to Australia exclusive on the Telstra NextG network. You can check out my unboxing video for this phone just clicking up there, but this is the review video, so very quickly to go over the specifications of this phone. Runs Android 2.1 Eclair with the HTC Sense, like I did say. It has a 528 MHz processor, 3.2-inch LCD screen, not the active matrix OLED screens that you see on some smartphones, and has a 1300 milliamp hours battery. Has a 5 megapixel camera on the back there with a LED light, and then that's the core specifications. If we just go through the form factor there, right at the top there you've got the power button, followed by the headphone and microphone jack. On the left hand side you've got the volume rocker. Feels really nice and solid to use, that volume rocker there. Looks pretty nice on the silver as well. At the top there you've got the speaker, you've got the HTC standard scroll button down the bottom there, touch sensitive, with the four home, menu, back and search buttons. HTC standard configuration. On the Wildfire these are actually touch sensitive part of the screen, unlike the Legend where they're actual buttons. If we flip it over, on the left hand side down the bottom you've also got the mini USB port, which connects to you, allows you to connect to your computer and also your charging. And on the back you've got the 5 megapixel camera with an LED light and the HTC logo. So if we just start off with the software, the Android 2.1 Eclair is a fantastic OS to have. In my view, one of the best, or probably the best mobile OSs out there. If you couple that with HTC Sense, it just works really well, and the phone is highly customizable, which is one of the big pluses. If you're looking for an Android device, it's highly customizable and allow you to set it up to your liking. This is one of the ones to actually consider. Has 7 home screens and it just works really well. You can set the home screens up to whatever you like and you can just have everything you need at the touch of a button. So all in all, the software is fantastic and it just really works well with this phone, and it's just really smooth, and with the 528 MHz processor it does work well. Getting onto the hardware, speaking of the processor, the 528 MHz processor is good and it works well, and I found it to be very adequate, and it was fairly smooth, but there was times where it was a little bit sluggish, and ideally you'd like to see something a little bit more powerful and a little bit quicker. Saying that, it's important to note the price point and the market that this is actually targeting. So, at the $480 mark Australian, it really is a great buy and it's very affordable. So putting something more than a 528 megahertz processor in there would probably jack the price up. So you'll be pushing into a different market segment there. So I understand why HTC put the processor in there, and it is adequate and it works well. But if you do have a lot of applications open, sometimes it can be a little bit sluggish. Speaking of the screen, 320 by 240 resolution LCD. I'm a huge fan of the LED active matrix OLED screens. Would have liked to see something a little bit higher in the resolution spec on this phone. The reason I say that is the software really is great, and you're just not getting all that you can out of the OS and HTC Sense by having a smaller res screen. However, saying that, it does work well and it does its job. The 5 megapixel camera on the back there works really well. I did find that it had fairly good quality images. Obviously won't be able to replicate a point and shoot, or a good quality point and shoot, or a DSLR, but it really does the job really well. And at times the image may not even look that great on the screen just because of the lower resolution spec, but once you export it out to your computer you can really see that the quality of the camera is really good. So definitely worth considering if you want to get a small, compact, light Android-based smartphone with a good camera so you can take it out and snap away. Then this one's definitely one to consider. It's also got the LCD or the LED light there in the back, so you can take it in dim light conditions. So camera is definitely great to use. If we get on to how this phone actually operates, I found it really good to use. The Telstra, if we get onto the network, the Telstra NextG network is second to none in Australia. It really works well. It's got great coverage. I didn't have any dropouts. Everyone heard me clearly on this phone. I tested it out with a number of calls. Everyone heard me clearly and I heard them very clearly and really crisp. The speaker on the back works pretty well on a hands-free and will definitely get the job done. Like all mobile phone devices, it's not a high quality speaker in the back there, so if you're pumping out music it really won't sound the best, but for the purpose of the phone acting as a hands-free device, it does work really, really well. HTC Sense, like I said earlier, and the Android 2.1 OS just works wonders, and what the Wildfire has in here is it's a really customizable interface which works well, and it's heavily suited to people which are on the social active front with Facebook and the like. So Facebook is heavily integrated into the OS. For instance, if someone is calling you, you'll come up with their picture of their photo if you've got their photo loaded in the phone, and it will also have information from the Facebook feeds, such as their latest status updates or their birthdays and so forth. So it's heavily integrated and it really works well, and it's really suited towards the social, the people out there which use the social networking sites, especially Facebook. So if that's you, then this is one to consider. It works really well. And all in all, I had a really good experience with this phone. I'd definitely consider it. If I was in the market for something sub $500 and had something that had a top-notch Android operating system, I'd definitely consider this. Android is, it's important to consider the Android systems now in light of all the additional apps it has and all the advancements in the OS, and HTC just do some really quality stuff. So found the battery life also to be excellent on this. I got a couple of extra hours on this one than I did on the HTC Legend, and that's probably something to do with the smaller res screen, would be using less power, and it's also an LCD instead of the LED of the Legend. But the talk time and the usage was really, really good, and I really just found it it was a really functional smartphone. So it's all around really good phone. If you're in the market for something under $500 outright or $329 on the prepaid Telstra NextG network, then this is the way to go. Feels good to hold, feels really solid, feels nice. Not as solid as the Legend, that one's made out of aluminium or some metal compound, but it does feel really solid, and all around just a fantastic phone. HTC did a good job putting a really good package together with an excellent OS and HTC Sense. So if that's what you're in the market for, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think of this one by posting below. Then don't forget to subscribe to my Tech Stops Here channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.